Next 3 years, if any company is not utilizing and building Gen AI, they will be obsolete. And what technology can do is democratize a lot of information. But at the same time, if I allow you to create listings in 2 seconds, it also allows a scammer to create 20,000 listings in 5 minutes, for example. So the idea is not to take the agent out of the equation, is to make them more powerful, do more with less. Because if a certain consumer gets scammed in other website, they eventually will not trust us as well. So we have to also play our regional brotherhood as well, where we are actually helping others in that we will share information where we find some some compromising information. We go to our clients and we share information how to make their information security a little bit better.
So good afternoon. It's amazing having you here today. It's a great pleasure to have you. Can you first introduce yourself, talk more about yourself first?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, first of all, for inviting us and share our story. My name is Himanshu Niranjani. I started about a year back with Property Finder. Previous to that, I was with companies like Amazon, Meta, where I built, Prime Video. Office 365 was the product that I launched, and I built it for Microsoft. I was also part of LinkedIn Learning, where we built a product that basically allows people to consume educational material in a consistent way. When I looked at Property Finder, I feel we are in the similar league where we have a whole lot of information that consumers want to interact with and create valuable experiences. And that's where this opportunity really came into mind. And we are actually having a lot of fun building very trustworthy applications for computer science.
Amazing. So basically, Property Finder is a prop tech company. So it is different, but it's kind of the same. Let's say in the technology, it has the technology DNA in it.
Absolutely. Think about it like Google, right? It has world's information. People go there to search answers. The way we think about it is like we are, a prop tech search engine where people come in and actually look for information. They may want to buy, sell. They may want to invest into a real estate property, or they may want to just rent because they are kind of growing their family. So there is the biggest investment anybody can make in their life is buying a property or finding a home for their family as their family is growing, or moving to a new place. Like I just moved a year back. And these are very high frictionless decisions, and more information helps them make a better decision about their life and their major investments they're going to make in their life. And I believe that our role in that transaction is to provide very transparent information, trustworthy information, accurate information that they can utilize at their fingertips to sift through maybe 300, 400,000 listings that we have on our platform to find that right place in the shortest period of time.
Amazing. So basically when let's say a user looks at you, you're basically... They think about the properties themselves. They think about the buildings. But we want to delve deeper here. We want to know about the technology behind that. What technologies are you using? How are you, let's say, using the cloud itself? What cloud are you using? And what services are helping you, let's say, in your journey to be, let's say, a leader in this market?
Absolutely. We definitely are a tech company, and as any tech company, we utilize some of the world's best technology. We have grown over time. Today, we are utilizing AWS technologies to build a lot of our backend platform. Our cloud is based on AWS technology. We actually believe in utilizing the best of the technology in a homogeneous way. I have been working in this field for 27 years, odd years, so I kind of have seen these technologies play out. And you need to find the right partner to build the technology so you can scale really well with your demands. On top of it, you also need to build with technology that actually is going to be there for long term. So there is a lot of trade-offs in technology, which one you use. And what kind of talent that can work on those technologies. So there is a very complex decision on which technology we pick up and which one we actually decide to stay with.
Let's say you're mainly here in the Middle East and the region, let's say in general, did let's say AWS regional expansion play any role in your choice of them?
Absolutely. I think for us, the way we see it is, and I'm an ex-Amazonian, just for disclaimer, I basically have seen this technology, how it can scale, really fast for your needs. When we see in this region, AWS, playing big part into our platform as well. Some of the things that you also want to look at is the cost versus the scale, right? So you want to keep your cost at minimum, but at the same time, when your technology inherently doesn't scale, it adds more cost to actually switch a technology. So it's always better to start with a good choice. And I think the region is adopting all these cloud technologies much faster than I was actually thinking, because now think about, some of the new companies that are currently being born in the Dubai region. And I'm super excited to see how cloud native companies can grow very fast, because you are not going to switch new technologies. So I think we are taking a lot of benefit for these kind of technologies that can scale inherently.
Exactly. Like talking about scaling, Dubai itself is growing like rapidly. The whole UAE, like the whole region is actually growing in a very large rate, let's say a very high rate. How did let's say having your partners in AWS help you, let's say, keep up with that growth? You need to work on many transactions. You have a lot of properties to, let's say, to manage and to help people, to help your users. You need a lot of power. You need a lot of, what type of, let's say, servers are you using? Mm-hmm. And how did that develop across the past few years, let's say?
Sure. So the way I see it is there are three dimensions to any growth in a technology landscape. So the first dimension of growth is just linear growth. You need more storage, you need more compute, you need to store more information, you need to compute them faster. And as you actually are doing that, you want to keep your cost low. So that's the first dimension of basic storage and compute equation. The second dimension on that is how easily you can build on top of it. So let's say if you just had the first dimension figured out, but then building on top of it is harder. The languages that you support, the variety of other partners who can come and build on top of that technology, that also adds more cost to it. If you think this is a cheaper and scales faster, but then any new feature you want to build on top of it or new capability you want to build can add more cost to it. So that's the second dimension of how you actually can build faster on top of the basic functionality. And then third is, as the new innovation comes into play, is this the provider that is going to give me those inherently? So for example, for us, all these three dimensions, AWS does check those boxes, because it scales faster. It actually scales at a linear cost, doesn't include into your cost metric, so it actually scales much faster. Second is, I can actually go out and hire a lot of other partners and other capabilities that I can build on top of AWS, because everybody uses AWS. And then the cloud team itself is also innovating. So if we need Gen AI, if we need other sort of media capabilities, video processing, image processing, I don't have to go and buy another technology, because AWS will support those kind of functionality. They are also innovating on top of other architectures that are coming on board. So those three dimensions make a lot of sense for me to continue to build with AWS.
Amazing. So you just mentioned Gen AI. We will talk about AI a bit later, like how you're using AI, because it's a very innovative way of using it. But let's say Gen AI itself, do you have any plans for it? How are you using it itself?
Sure. So definitely, like any company, I think we were just in Riyadh for FII Summit, and I think Elon Musk was visiting for a short period of time, and he actually cited very good number that in next 3 years, if any company is not utilizing and building Gen AI, they will be obsolete. So it's no longer a nice to have or a fancy thing. It's going to become just like cloud is today, where most of the companies are building on top of cloud. Gen AI will become that. A little background about myself. I have been doing AI since 1994. So I'm kind of revealing my age, how old I am. And I have seen this AI field kind of, grow a little bit more with leaps and bounds in last few years. And I believe that the way to do AI is when you actually empower your AI algorithms with humans. So I always say that human-powered AI and AI-powered humans are the best way to solve business problems, because you cannot take humans out of AI. It becomes a dumb algorithm because humans need to continue to train the algorithms to explain which direction it should learn and what it should learn about. So for example, for prop tech, we use Gen AI or even just AI to basically create trust and transparency. We can process large amount of information faster. We can make our descriptions far more readable. We can actually verify information much faster, because now AI can do calculations that humans don't have to click 20 buttons maybe a few months back. So we utilize AI in a lot of back-end business solutions, because I believe that that's the best way to utilize AI first, because that's how I scale and simplify a lot of my business operations. It takes time, and I always believe in deeper AI integration to build consumer-facing capabilities. And those are some of the things that we are also looking at.
Amazing. So you mentioned basically trust. You mentioned, let's say, checking how true are, like, let's say, facts on your listing, that kind of stuff. Can you take us more, like, let's say, deeper? How does that exactly work? How are you using AI to check if the properties are, let's say, properly described and that kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm, sure. So as I was saying earlier, real estate is all about trust and transparency, because if there is no trust, there is no trade. And what technology can do is democratize a lot of information. But at the same time, if I allow you to create listings in 2 seconds, it also allows a scammer to create 20,000 listings in 5 minutes, for example. So how we verify that information? So it's not just on one hand, I give capability to make listings faster. I also have to, on the other hand, make sure that my technology provides you tools in most of the time automated way to look at information that is coming through. Before we publish it, we verify those information. And as Property Finder has grown to be the leading portal in the region, we create a whole lot of listings on a given day. That means that now I need to also make sure that my verification process also can catch up to the creating process. So what we try to do is use technology to create transparent information, remove duplicate, because sometimes people can make mistakes. Price realism is also a big thing. If you look at a property price, you want to also ensure that this is the right price. We have algorithms that look at lot of other features and information, cross-check with lot of databases to make sure that the price that the agent put is not erroneous. They didn't put something mistakenly. A missing zero can actually give you 20,000 people interested in it, but all 20,000 people will be disappointed that the property is far more expensive than what they actually were advertising. So we look at a lot of this information to create a lot of trust, and transparency is also a big thing for us. The region is also looking at a lot of new regulations, which we welcome, because regulation creates a lot of trust for people. It levels the playing field for all the players in the marketplace. While we also partner with our brokerages to create listings, we also believe our duty is to consumers to create listings. So we are not just going to put a listing because we can make some quick money. We are going to put only listing that's going to help our consumers who come on our portal and look for accurate information.
Amazing. So, like you talked about, like you can make now a listing in 2 seconds. How do you think that is changing, like, the role of agents? Are the agents of today the same as agents of, let's say, 10 years back? How did that change, and where do you think is their future?
That's a great question. And especially this question is being asked in a lot of other professions as a lot of technology is taking, shape, especially Gen AI and all that. So I'll give you an example. Before, 5 years back or 10 years back, if I wanted to write a 10-page essay, I had to type it up full. Now I also type up my essay, but now I have other tools that can help me do some research. I don't have to browse for 10 hours to write that essay. Now that information is readily available because of technology advances. Similar things in real estate agents. Before, it used to be where you have to kind of, take all the pictures and look at the quality and then type up the title and description and other 15,000 pieces of information. Then you click through 20, screens to basically publish a particular listing. Now technology makes it easier. We are working very hard on new capabilities that allow agents to create listings through some automations, so that you can actually create it within few seconds, but at the same time it is going to be as accurate or even more enhanced than before. So the idea is not to take the agent out of the equation, is to make them more powerful, do more with less. An agent's time, we believe, is the most important in a brokerage field. So they want to make sure that all agents' time is actually utilized properly. So if we provide, if we save 2 minutes, for example, per listing, that may be adding up 2,000 hours a month for a particular agent, because now they can create more listings and they can be more productive. So I believe that the technology that we are building right now, and our focus is to make agent efficiency at a paramount. At the same time, efficiency on the consumer side is also important, because if I can create a quick filter and learn from your information that you shared with me, that's why we encourage people to create a login and save your searches so that we can learn and then suggest only the right properties for you, and don't throw 20,000 search results in front of you, but make you more efficient so you get to the right information in the shortest period of time.
Great. So you talked about making it easier basically for agents, but making it easier for good actors is also making it easier for bad actors. For your users, basically they need a way to know which one is better, which agent is better for them, which one do you recommend, let's say, which one won't scam you or won't try anything funny with you, or will be, let's say, respectful toward you and do their job, let's say, properly.
Sure.
How do you ensure that? How do you help your users choose the right person?
Absolutely. So we, as I said, trust and transparency are words only if you don't implement it into your technology and don't bring it in the forefront of the transaction. So we have several ways to do that. Number one is our key tenet about bringing quality into our platform is that you cannot buy quality. So none of our client can actually buy quality from us. They cannot buy anything from us when it comes to the agent behavior. So we have a badge called Super Agent, which is actually a behavior-based earning. So an agent who actually responds faster to a consumer question, responds respectfully to a consumer, and we do have ways to measure those in how you are interacting with our consumers, how accurate you are in sharing your information, and those all capabilities then get calculated in real time, and then you earn a badge called Super Agent, and we actually feature those listings higher up in our search result, which allows you to get better leads as an agent. But the only way you can become Super Agent is by actually serving your consumers well. So as a marketplace, we are creating rules of engagement where good actors actually bubble up on the top and bad actors kind of weed themselves out. And the idea is not to weed them out, but weed the bad behavior out so that they can learn and educate themselves. If you're a Super Agent, but you did few things that were not under your control, or you mistakenly did something, you lose that status. And then we tell you hey, you do these things again, and then you can actually become a Super Agent again. So we have these measurements in place. We have this monitoring in place. We also look at consumers, meaning a scammer who is posing as a consumer. So we also block your number if you start bothering our agents, because you are not a real consumer. But sometimes a certain consumer also is in a hurry and wants to reach out to 20 agents. So we also have machine learning algorithms that actually in real time measure and try to identify which pattern is a scammer pattern and which is a real consumer trying to frantically look for a property, because both can come across same way, both can click same button 20 times in a minute, but one could be a authentic consumer trying to reach to 20 property agents because he only has 1 hour to respond to in a busy day when you are looking for a house. So we do look at on both sides how we can actually utilize technology to bring the bad behavior out and bring actually a good behavior and build a better marketplace, because that's we believe our duty is.
Amazing. So let's say as a prop tech company, you've played a very pivotal role in changing the market itself. You're using the technology to change the market. How do you think that market itself, how much is it reliant on technology? If, let's say, just today, no prop tech anymore, everyone goes back to, let's say, using agents, using real estate offices and that kind of stuff. And you need to rely on that. How different would that be? And how easy would it be for me, let's say, as a user, to navigate that kind of world as I grew up with this world?
Absolutely. It's a great question. And the way to look at it is look at other automations that humans have built in over the years. If I take all the cars out of Dubai, how hard it is for me to go from here to Burj Khalifa? And you can equate that to the same question you pose. So every automation that we build, it kind of becomes inherent as users. And technology has a very good way to self-adapt, meaning if it's good technology, humans will adapt it and make it integral. If it is bad technology, we will throw it out. And we have seen multiple iterations into storage. There were floppy disks before, but it was very hard to carry, very small data space that you can actually do that. USBs replaced them. Why? Because it can be shorter, smaller, and can store more information. So technology has to evolve. Users, as they start using a lot of technology, they actually understand what works for them and they adapt to that more. And prop tech or tech companies like us has to actually also respond to user needs. It's not just because we built it, we are going to keep it. If the users are not interested in it, we are going to evolve into something they would rather respond to. So technology needs to serve the users. It cannot be just because it's a good technology, we can keep it.
Amazing. So you mentioned like it's like cars for Dubai, let's say. That's like cars for people, which is, I think it's a very good thing to talk about it because it makes everything faster. Is that necessarily a good thing? And how can, like, let's say a person, let's say there's a buyer now, what time should they expect to choose like the right property? Is it doable, like say in 1 hour, in 1 day, 1 week? Like in the olden days, it used to take months and even years to take like the right property, to find it, to rent it even. Like it was a very demanding task.
It is.
Now it still have like a lot of, there's a lot of effort you put in it, but the technology is making it easier. But how easy exactly?
So you are bringing a very good point. So in my example about cars, it's a technology that is available to you should you want to go faster. If you want to just walk in the park, you don't need a car for that. You can just dwell in a park and enjoy the park. So we also measure those things on our technology. When consumers are looking for a particular house, they want to dwell and they want to look at leisurely on a lot of things. I don't want to rush you because you also feel that you go into certain websites, they push you to actually transact faster because it's in their interest. Guess what? If we do that, we actually tend to even make more money, for example, because I'm creating faster transactions on my portal. But at Property Finder, we actually believe in allowing user the freedom to dwell if they want to, but if they want to go faster, we provide the right enough information for you. But we don't keep popping you for action, or we can't actually nudge you to do something that you are not comfortable to do right now. So we have to find this balance between dwell time and speed to the transaction, speed to the agent outreach. And there are ways we design our interfaces to make sure that all information has the same visual appeal, rather than creating certain information with bolder, bigger icons, which actually tend to take more attraction, which may distract users from their dwell time. So you have to look at your interface design, you have to look at your information architecture, you have to look at your scroll speed, so that people actually feel that I am actually giving you full control. When you come on Property Finder, your experience is far better than other portals because we have thought about it. It's not accident that it's actually allowing you to take your time. We will actually identify whether you are a user who is taking a walk in the park or you want to get there faster to your office because you're getting late for your meeting.
That's a very great, let's say, way in putting it. My next one is about your users. Your users are not the same. Some users like value, let's say, users who have kids, someone who need to buy a property or rent a property and they have kids. They want to see if the schools are great near them. They want to see how much would it take for them, like, let's say, to rent this one. They would be more price sensitive and that kind of stuff. While your young users, let's say, won't care about that as much as, like, let's say, their commute to work. That would be way more important to them than, let's say, schools nearby. How do you help them choose that, like, let's say, in an easier way? without going into every single detail by hand?
Mm-hmm. So this actually is a great question, because this goes into the philosophy of how you actually handle the information gathering problem set. So while we understand that we are a property listing portal, for example, and if I just take that as my job, then my technology will only give you listing of property. It can actually tell you, oh, there are parks nearby and schools and travel time to certain locations and points of interest. We actually take our job as we are your partner in looking for your home. You want to get to better living, you want to buy a better property, you want to find an investment opportunity, or just a rental property, for example, for your next rent. When you look at that as a problem of I'm your partner in that search, I have to then create community pages. So we actually currently have the largest collection of community pages in the region. We actually collect a lot of information about which community is growing faster, so we can actually tell our partners that you need to put more agents on these locations, because these are growing, consumers are going to flock there more, so you need to be prepared for it. So we actually make sure that both sides of our marketplace is utilizing this information so that they actually have right information, because I don't think that people just go to listing and jump through the listing. They sometimes go out and look at certain blog posts. So we have a very healthy blog presence where we write a lot of articles, and we also allow our users to contribute to those content, so that we have information from local residents who actually share a lot of information with our writers, and then we put together the best blogs out there, so that people who are just looking to look for information, who are not local residents, because Dubai is now becoming the global city and a lot of people are moving here, so they want to research before move here, saying which location is better. So we also create these ingress points into your search, so that you actually can identify what area is better for you and your current use case that you are looking for, whether you are a couple, a young family, or a family that is with 3 kids and you are looking for moving from apartment to villa.
Amazing. So you're talking about storing data. You have a lot of data about your users, about the properties themselves, and that's a lot of sensitive data, let's say. What you're doing to protect it, to keep it safe, to make sure like no bad actors can get access to it, and it's only used in a proper way, in a respectful way toward your users' privacy and security?
No, that's a great question, and I believe in lot of data security, privacy, because the more you are transparent and the more you are actually creating a very good marketplace for users to come in and interact on your platform. They provide a lot of signals to you, a lot of information they share, and we actually have our duty to basically protect this information from bad actors. We utilize world's latest technologies to encrypt the data at rest. We use some of the cutting edge technology from AWS to basically, when the data is at rest, it's encrypted. Only certain people can get to that information. And we do have a lot of checks in place to make sure. One of the things that we are actually enabling right now is a lot of multi-factor authentication for our, login sites, and making sure that if one of your factor is compromised, if somebody compromised your email, you still actually, your account is safe on Property Finder. So we look at a lot of information, security and all that, but it's not a static. As you know, that as technology evolves, we make it easier for our consumers and our clients. Same way scammers and spammers are also getting sophisticated. Now they actually have, more technology to use and throw at us. So it's always a lock and key sort of a find. You find a better lock, people find a better way to break that lock, and we basically look at the newer lock on a daily basis. So my team actually works on a day-to-day basis to do that. We have a dedicated security team that actually looks at cybersecurity incidents. We actually have a very good partnership with AWS to look at these information.
I was going to ask you about that actually. Like, AWS is one of the biggest cloud providers here, and you have a very good, let's say, partnership with them. How is that helping you with security, with privacy, with, let's say, local laws like demanding data sovereignty and that kind of stuff? How are they helping with you, and how supportive are they?
And I compare any cloud partner, a good cloud partner, as a friend. Because if you have a good friend, they have good friends too. So just like your cloud partner, for me, it's AWS. They also have good partners too. So they bring the entire family to the table. So if we have a need for, security services, if we have a need for certain capabilities, we are trying to build some, other algorithms that we are building and we need expert advice. They bring the entire family of their partners. Their partner network is one of obviously world's largest and best of the breed. So we actually tap into that market on a daily basis. And that's where a lot of symbiotic relationships can happen, where we are not just developing on a singular minded, technology, but a multidimensional way of developing technology that is secure, that is safe, it's transparent, but at the same time, scammers cannot get in. So in order to do that, it's not just that my partnership with AWS as a cloud provider, but with their partners, and we are building a lot of relationships in the region. And also we are providing a lot of advice to other companies where we actually share best practices, because I believe that when the entire region helps each other, actually the region actually builds better technology as a team rather than just as a competitors.
That's very good, actually, like to hear about it, to hear about like your openness toward that. Can you just tell us about more collaborations of that kind? Let's say, what are you putting out? How are you helping in that regard?
So we do have an active tech blog where we are going to refresh a lot of information about if we build a technology that actually is useful. Like if you today go to Netflix tech blog, they will actually tell you how they built a better failover. Because we understand that consumers actually are better served when all the portals in the region are actually doing something of a best practice. Obviously, we have an edge. We know that. And that's what the cutting edge player does in the market. They first innovate and then they share the innovation so others can innovate. But we will make sure that we are out innovating everybody. And that's the healthy competition that we have to bring. Because if a certain consumer gets scammed in other website, they eventually will not trust us as well. So we have to also play our regional brotherhood as well, where we are actually helping others in that. We will share information where we find some compromising information. We go to our clients and we share information how to make their information security a little bit better, because sometimes scammers can get into their platform, and we will notice some of those, and we will go to our partners and tell them that you need to look at these things or look at a couple of other things, and we provide our consultancy services to them as well.
That's a very reflection, let's say, outlook on it, because it's not every day when you see like someone who has like a friendly look into the competition itself. And basically, when I think about it, if I have a bad experience with any kind of product, I will think badly of the whole product. It's not only like the one company. Of course, the one company would be worse off, but like if I have like a scam on my credit card, I will be very like scared about that. I won't be scared only about one bank. It will be like the whole credit card scene. So it's very refreshing to hear it from you, because you have the same outlook, but as a provider, which is very good and very, let's say, telling of the future of the region itself. So I think thank you for that.
No, absolutely. I mean, and once you are a leader in the market, it becomes not just, you don't just earn more business than your competition. You actually, contribute more to the sector. You have to come across as a leader and not just another competitor, because we have more responsibility on our shoulder. We work with our regulators. We work with our partners in the marketplace. We sometimes suggest when we see certain kind of bad behaviors, we suggest to regulators that this is an area we should look at. We have a very strong relationship with them. We have very strong relationship in all the countries where we are working to partner with the government and any other regulating authority to actually point out any issues, because we believe that in order to create the trust, it cannot just happen on my platform. My platform is part of this ecosystem. So if something bad is happening out in ecosystem, eventually it will get to me. So my responsibility is to the sector. My responsibility is to the consumer and partners, no matter where they are transacting. Obviously, I'm 100% confident that they will transact on Property Finder because we are the best company out there in the region for this particular purpose. But we cannot just sit on our morals and say we are better, so we don't need to worry about others. We have to point out whenever there is a bad behavior, even if at times it actually comes at a cost to us. We actually believe in raising the bar of a better behavior, and that's what a leadership company should do.
Amazing. So you talked about the markets you're working across. how many markets exactly are you working across, and how different are they? Like, of course, you're working here in the UAE. How different is it from another market you're working on? What challenges does that bring? I need to focus on the challenges themselves, because every market is different. And how much are you paying attention like toward the difference of this market, the uniqueness of it?
Absolutely. So we are predominant in UAE, and that's where we were kind of, we started our journey. But right now we are in Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and UAE. And what we actually look at, these markets are, some of them are developing and some of them are mature. So some of the information, for example, earlier I talked about, regulations, and also certain countries are well advanced in their regulation, and we rely on that as well. But certain places we don't have that. So our platform needs to adjust for those rules and, rule sets to do verification and other things. Certain governments will have certain requirements for certain documentation, while others may not have that. They may have others. So it creates a lot of complexities and challenges. It's not a standard behavior across all my countries. Also, consumer behavior also changes across different region and different countries. What is acceptable over here, because Dubai may have a large expat population, for example. So I have to cater for that, because when I look at Dubai, I look at it as a cosmocity, as a cosmopolitan city where a lot of other nationalities are participating. When I go to there are other expat communities over there, different languages, different ways of consuming information. So I believe that our platform needs to adjust for all of the behavior combined, and learn from each other. Some of the best practice that we might learn from, for example, UAE, we can then implement into Egypt. Even though it's not required there, it actually is going to raise the bar over there, and we are kind of net exporter of good behavior if you think over the region. And then what happens is, consumer, as they look at our platform in, for example, Egypt, they look at other portals, and they actually, and we do get that feedback from our consumers, that when I go on Property Finder, I somehow feel better, I feel protected, I feel the information is far more accurate and far more clean and trustworthy than others. And some of them is our work, but some of them is our work over the years in UAE, where we have learned some of these best practices. So working in other countries also allow you to learn about what's happening in other countries, and how we can actually better serve those things. And sometimes you also import those into UAE and actually learn from other countries, and allow UAE to also learn, and consumers in UAE to also participate in those kind of updates.
Good. That's very good. Like to hear, like, is it different like from country to country? How different, let's like the Egypt platform from the UAE platform? Can you go through some differences, some main differences?
Sure. So, for example, as I was saying earlier, the biggest thing, our platform has three main sort of personas, if you will. So we have a consumer on one side, we have client on the other, and regulator in the middle. And we are kind of like the matchmaker, if you will. If you look at UAE, the regulator is far more sophisticated. The clients are far more sophisticated. Most of the clients will have expats working there, because they are serving expat community that is looking to move into Dubai. And the consumer is also sophisticated, because they are sometimes investors, and they actually learn the real estate market really well. If you take these three personas and move to, let's say, Egypt, all three are changed now. The consumer is growing because it's a growing economy. The information that they care more about is affordability, price realism, trustworthiness of the information. The regulator is also learning what rules to put in, what rules not to put in. They have their own challenges as they are kind of trying to address the growth in real estate industry. And then you look at the clients. Some of them are just people like you and me, just trying to create a new agency. They have a business card and a lot of entrepreneurial spirit to go out and earn more business. They don't have sophistication of a Dubai agency with 4,000, 5,000 agents who are working in a big staff and a big infrastructure. So when I actually look at countries like Egypt and Saudi Saudi Arabia, there are a lot of mobile first users because they don't have laptops, they don't have reliable internet connection. So my technology needs to be ready for low bandwidth usage. So we actually tailor our experiences based on internet bandwidth. So if you have a fast internet, you will actually see certain different information versus lower internet, or we actually prioritize key informations first, and then we will load another information. So you actually get to key information faster if you have an internet that is slower. So those are some of the areas. Verification is also another area where kind of documents that are available from Dubai, for example, land department would be different than what Saudi regulators will provide you as a verification. So our platform needs to change and learn and adapt to those things. And as every country is adding new regulation, we on a daily basis we get compliance requests from different countries saying now you need to add this rule, and suddenly there is a lot of work that comes our way, but we take it as a opportunity to improve the consumers' trust and transparency in that particular market.
So mainly you have a positive outlook on regulations.
Oh, absolutely. I always welcome regulation in any marketplace, because while regulation is like your parents, you don't like what they tell you, but they are usually right because they want a better behavior from you, right? So when you are actually looking at a regulation, it does not help any marketplace to actually fight regulation. You can always give feedback, because certain regulation, when it was created, the mindset was different. The idea of putting that regulation was right, but the outcome can be counterproductive if it is not implemented properly. If today I ask you that you need to provide X document for all listings, if a big country like say UAE has hundreds of thousands of listings, that creates unmanageable amount of work for an agency. So we actually allow a lot of regulations to smoothen out its wrinkles and allow to roll out much easier. And that's where our role is, because we have the aggregated view of entire market across 6 countries. We actually can see very quickly if you put a particular drop in this side of the things, what will happen on the other side of the things. We have a lot of data, we have a lot of monitoring, so we can actually give you far better information on what will happen to this particular market if you try to change certain rules of the games.
In the previous question, you talked about how much your services are reliant on, let's say, mobile data on other countries and that kind of stuff. But also it has a lot of storage on your side, a lot of cloud managing on your side. How challenging is that, especially working in many markets across the region? I know it's not the best covered region in, let's say, cloud services and that kind of stuff. And some places, especially, let's say, for Saudi Arabia, there's some places that are very far away from cities, from other villages, and it's really challenging. So how is, let's say, your cloud infrastructure helping with that and helping you stay whenever whenever a customer needs you, they will find you?
Oh, absolutely. And so there is a 2-part answer to that. The first part is you need to look at your infrastructure topology, your infrastructure strategy, to make sure that the countries that you are going to enter in and going to serve and expand. So we also look at on a quarterly basis our capacity planning for our cloud infrastructure. The second part is also identifying which cloud provider to work with. If you work with partners like AWS, they have figured that piece out way earlier than you. So for example, AWS will have the Saudi Arabia strategy figured out maybe 10 years before we went in, because they would be doing that thing well before us, because they have far more bigger customer base. So identifying a growing and in a very methodical growth oriented companies like Amazon and AWS is a better way to partner, and that's where I see that partnership working for us really well. When we look at our strategy around identifying, because we believe that technology is a ultimate democratization factor. People need to be served with technology so that they can access any real estate market, sitting in any village with a very small rickety phone with a very small 2G bandwidth, right? So when you look at that as your opportunity, your solutions that you need to design is far more accessible to the user. It needs to have all the kinds of reach into that particular region, and wherever we find some of the things where we have challenges, we do share it with our partner and say, hey, we are having challenges in this particular area. And the good thing is we actually get a lot of response back and we start building together, because they might not have figured out certain scenarios that we can allow, give them opportunity to learn.
That's very great. So you don't think, let's say, someone who just lost their mind and decided, I will go alone. No one can do it alone now. That's, let's say, the lesson here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think it also means that if somebody is listening to this exchange and they are an entrepreneur or a founder, they want to actually build a new company in this region, they also need to learn that it's always better if you think your idea can actually go to multiple countries, always think about which cloud you are going to build in. It's very easy to go alone. You can go from 0 to 30 in 5 seconds, but going from 30 to 60 could take 5 years. So it's always good to have a very long-term view into a strategy. At Property Finder, we actually look at 5-year, strategy, and we look at our tech platform in a 5-year mindset. What will happen after 5 years? If we are actually going to build this feature, how it will evolve over next 5 years across all of our countries that we are serving. It actually adds a little bit more complexity, but also makes it future-proof. So we're not going to put something out there because today we are kind of responding to something that competition is doing, but we have a very methodical approach to growing while keeping tabs on what's happening in the marketplace.
Talking about a 5-year plan, that's a very long period of time, a lot of change in it. Let's say, what's your short-term plans? What features are you working on? What do you have planned for us? Let's say, what can you surprise us with?
So we definitely believe in building our features with our consumers and partners. So we don't publicize a lot of things, but definitely there are areas that we all understand that needs to be addressed. Better consumer experience, better trustworthiness through AI and generative AI, making sure that consumers and agents can actually communicate better. So providing multiple channels of communication is very important, because you and I both understand there was a time when all you need is an SMS and you can text each other and you are fine. Then suddenly now you can do WhatsApp and you can do Instagram, and there are a whole bunch of other channels. So we have to respond to some of those needs as well. When we look at generative AI, sometimes people think generative AI is just ChatGPT and those sort of things. It's not actually true. There are better ways that AI can actually enhance a lot of images, because we believe that better images provide better property experience so we are working on our own platform and our own algorithms that we have been working as soon as I started here, and we are continuing to work. We have created a research and development wing which actually dives deep into this thing, and we only put it out to our consumer when we feel that this is the world's best technology for the region. Otherwise, it's just a gimmick. It's very easy to plug this, plug that, and stitch together and give it to consumer. If it's easy come, it's easy go, right? So you have to take your time and mature the technology.
Especially we're talking about Gen AI. I remember finding it in a lot of applications. In some of them, it makes sense. In many of them, it just doesn't make sense. It's just added there.
Exactly.
Do this, and then, okay, this is Gen AI.
Yeah.
So may I ask, I'm not sure if it's secretive or something, what Gen AI solution are you using? Are you developing your own entirely? Are you building on something else? Are you using, let's say, a Bedrock platform, or what exactly?
Sure. So my Gen AI roadmap actually includes 5 pillars. The first pillar is business operations, meaning we actually simplify business operations for our consumers when they are looking for things. So actually using AI to learn about patterns and session behavior. And then obviously second pillar is for our clients. So how an agency can use AI platform to actually create faster listings, more accuracy, less steps to create. So we are actually working a lot on that forefront. The third pillar is building on top of already mature technology. So what you talked about, Bedrock, absolutely, we consume a lot of new information that comes, and we are building on that platform. The fourth is what I call media enhancement. So images, videos, information that make a property listing much better, much more consumable. Because sometimes when agent takes a picture, from their phone, because as I said, some of the countries may not have, professional photographer to take the picture. So how can I use AI to enhance the picture so it goes in as a mobile picture, which is very grainy. On the other side, it comes out as if a professional took it. Not only it improves the consumer behavior, it also reduces a lot of cost on my client side, because not every agent or agency can actually hire a professional photographer. If you can hire, great, nothing wrong with it. We provide tools to actually provide better resolution and all that management if you have a higher resolution images. But we also provide tools that are AI powered to basically enhance your image so it will look much better when the consumer is browsing the information. And last but not least is security. So we also implement a lot of AI to identify the patterns of scammers, spammers, the behaviors, as I was saying earlier, how we can identify super agent behavior versus not, how we can actually improve our pricing infrastructure so that price realism can actually be a real thing. So we use AI in all these five areas, and we definitely have a very good partnership with AWS to build on Bedrock and all the other things that go with it.
Amazing. So let's finish up with some advice from you. Let's imagine, there's a lot of companies currently working either in UAE or in the general Middle East, let's say. Basically, Property Finder transformed a lot in the prop tech, but there's a lot of industries that didn't have the same experience in digitalization and digital transformation, let's say. How do you think these companies that didn't see the same digital transformation, or they are lagging behind, what should they do? Of course, you have a long experience across many years in many companies. So what advice do you have to help them, to guide them into a better future for them, for their industries, and for their own business, of course?
Sure. So I would say I have three-part answer for that. First part is, if you are not a tech company, tell yourself you're a tech company, because majority of the businesses are actually getting every day converted into a tech company. They don't know it yet, but they will become one, meaning tech plays an integral part. Now, I don't want everybody to hire 2,000 software engineers. That's not the goal. But the goal is to look at your business operations and see where tech can help you, because tech is actually about to optimize every business that's out there. So that's part one. Look at applicability of any technology in your business operations. Second, invest in it. Don't invest where your business cannot afford it, but don't out-invest. Don't under-invest where you can't afford it in future, because you'll be out-invested by other people. So tech is something that it's like plant. The more fertilizer you put, the more water you put, the plant becomes healthier, stronger, gives you far better yield on your crop. So I think technology should be looked as an investment rather than cost center, because sometimes less mature areas can actually think technology investment as a cost center. My IT operations is actually a cost. It's not. If you utilize it, it's your profit center. It can give you 2 or 3 humans worth of work over a year for free. So you have to look at tech as an investment. And third, don't be afraid of trying out new things. You will be surprised when you actually put tech to the work. You will actually learn more. Even if it's failure, you will learn what didn't work. It actually allows your business to grow, and it allows your company to grow. Because if you believe that right now my business ran like this for 30 years or 10 years or 15 years, the next world we are entering into is powered by Gen AI, is powered by humans who are powered by AI. So it actually is going to be very difficult to continue as it is continuing. Before it used to be siloed sort of operations. Now the Dubai is kind of bringing the world into the region. So I think it's just the game on, and I think technology is here to stay, and people have to kind of start working with it.
Well, thank you very much. You've been very informative, a lot of insights, a lot of valued information. So thank you for being here today with us, and thank you for all that information you had, and good luck with all your plans or your new features. So
thank you so much for inviting and allowing us to share our story. We are building some really good things at Property Finder. I'm super proud to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.